And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes a guest. He's a producer and podcaster and the SME to Peter Madrigal's Captain Hook. It's Rob Shulte. And she's a writer and showrunner who doesn't watch horror movies. Instead, she just visits her handsome nephew and beautiful girlfriend and then looks in the mirror. It's Robin Shorr. Tone Zone is back from Hawaii, where he met Minnie Mouse, and now let's just say things are a bit tense in the Thaxton household. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your best friend, Allison Rosen.
Allison Rosen, Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little cranberry banana breads. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular holiday-esque carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Jay Melville. Yes, I am on Patreon. All sorts of fun stuff. We recently had bonus episodes with Jenna Kim Jones, with Renee Colvert. I right now have 2 bonus episodes in the can, both of which initially were intended possibly to go in the main feed, and I decided, nope. This will get me in trouble if I release it. I have got to put it behind the paywall. One of them is a little juicy, and then one of them's just features my children. So, but it's also... But
that one was smooth.
Oh, yeah, you were there for that one. Wasn't that one so good? It was a real... So it's like not at all...
Total chaos.
Chaotic, not at all challenging in any way.
Exactly as planned.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
The part where I decided I was going to do How Dare You, where I ask nosy, occasionally adult questions of the guests. I was just going to ask them of myself. Mm-hmm. With Owen present, that didn't get in the... Owen didn't get in the way at all. Daniel.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I would like to say hello. Oh, yeah. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
Patreon.
Do an annual subscription, get 2 months free. I'd like to say hello
That's a good deal.
to my guest,
Nice work.
I mean, I did just hear her voice, but Robin is what I meant to say. That was Renee's voice. Robin Shorr.
Hello.
Welcome back. I've missed you. It feels like it's been too long.
Agree.
Okay. And I know that you have all sorts of stuff to get into because you have been traipsing around these 50 states.
It's over.
And we got to get into that.
Yes.
Rob Shulte.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Oh, this is exciting. Very thrilled to be back.
It's exciting to have you back. You live a little bit far away, so I feel like it's like you've come into town for the occasion.
I really have, but to be fair, I make a day of it.
Oh.
I mean, I love that.
I got some barbecue with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I bought some pants. I tested this out on Daniel before, and it worked then. It's working now. I'm very thrilled to be here. So.
You tested what, the pants?
The
full
opening
day of
phrase, the day. Did it ring well? Pants, barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue and pants.
I love that you workshopped that. What were the other? Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
What were the other options
What do you mean?
of what Rob could have told us he did today?
Oh, we didn't workshop it in that sense. He was just like running it by me to see if it was gold, and it was.
Thank God. And then we just diverged into our thoughts on reality television.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard to stay away from that.
Daniel, I really enjoyed the intro. I know that you...
We don't have to.
No, I'm
humor me
not.
anymore.
I know that
it's like
you've made it clear on and off air that you would rather do anything than have to do...
My doctor offered to give me a colonoscopy. And just for fun.
Tell them the truth.
About my colonoscopy?
Yeah, about how you're not going to do a colonoscopy.
Oh, they have this new thing now where it's like a home, you got to send in your poo. And
what?
Which
Yes.
I think I've seen a commercial for that.
Yes, but they can they can test like the DNA.
Poo with so many O's. You're like, send in your poo.
Yeah, poo. And they can figure out from that whether or not you need a colonoscopy.
You love to hear it.
I don't know
You
about
do.
that. I don't
you?
love it I don't love it. I think it's crappy.
So here's nice work.
Wait,
the
do you
writers
not-
in the house.
Do you not love it for my cynical reason too, which is like it's the insurance companies just Wait, but that sending in your poo has got to be expensive too.
I don't know that it's a cost thing. It's who knows? Maybe it is. But for me, it's like, here's your option. You can either take a day off for the colonoscopy. You got to like go in. You know, they drug you up. You go under. They do the thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, and then you sort of come out of the haze, or you just put some poo in the mail. And now the difference is with the colonoscopy, you have to do that every 10 years, whereas this thing you do every 3.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
And you have to now tip your mail carrier even more during the holidays because they've handled your poo.
They said, I send poo all the time anyway. This is just, it's very little extra effort.
Do you have to mark anything special on the outside of the package?
Yeah, there's like a poo emoji that you put on it.
Hazardous waste poo emoji.
I was at the vet
I don't know.
and I watched a woman pull out like a little tube of something, and I was like, no. And she's like, here's my cat's fecal sample. I was like, oh. And I almost threw up from that. So I feel like if it's in the mail, it should be really like double bagged.
Yeah, they give you a whole kit. I'm sure it's pretty well sealed. It's not like you're not just scooping it into an envelope, and then licking the envelope and then sending it through
Has
the mail.
anybody ever fully barfed on a podcast live?
No, but
I did not intend
Because
for this to
I
come up.
have a really bad gag reflex.
Okay, well, I am happy to change the subject.
No, I feel bad, but
No, it's okay.
I'm so queasy when people talk about poo.
I know. I think that
I
I've become.
understand.
So is all this because you would rather do that than read our really great intros?
You'd rather do that? We can talk about it. I'm sorry. I just
oh
think
no,
when
I don't want to make you throw up.
I've
I
been
kinda
so
do.
on the verge. I threw up like 3 times when we were away.
Here,
My
I'll-
throw up reflex. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh
we
my
don't have
God,
to get
cut
into
this.
detail.
What if
I'm so sorry.
what if I begin pooing uncontrollably when someone talks about
All right,
vomit?
let's not talk about either of those things. I'll just say this.
Hilarious. Oh my God, that would make me feel so much better.
If you're like,
That would
"Eh,"
make
and I'm
me
like,
feel like aligned. I would have an ally.
It's like codependent.
Thank you. You just solved
vomiting.
it. Now I won't get grossed out when people talk about it because I'll think about Allison pooing.
This is perfect.
Well, I barf.
Yeah, it's great.
Having a dog and then kids has made me less.
Right. Totally.
I don't like poo
Yes,
isn't as
I know.
gross as it once was.
And it's hilarious too. Let's be honest. It's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. There's so much I got to get into. But so anyway, my point with all of that, before we nearly pushed Robin's reflex, was you would rather do anything than write intros. You've made that very clear. But your intros have been kicking ass lately. So
really
good.
Yes, very true.
Robin really enjoyed
that's very
Smee,
nice.
and I did too.
So I was not expecting Smee.
Smee's been on my mind lately. I, don't
I
know
did
why.
take a bit of umbrage to that, but
Oh, do you feel like you're the hook to his Smee?
well, if anything, I'm the boo box guy. But
That's as deep as I go in the characters from Peter Pan. I just feel like sidekick.
yeah,
That's who-
totally. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
You're not Shmee like in any other way. I'm not saying
Maybe
that
when
you've
I'm
got-
sweeping those bottles at the end of the.
And who doesn't love Shmee? He's
That's true.
the
I just had an apostrophe. That's my favorite line from that movie.
exactly.
And you referenced my gorgeous nephew and his gorgeous girlfriend.
Yeah, I know that was.
And that's exciting to me. I'm so proud of how gorgeous they are.
good for them. Time hasn't ravaged them like
I
some
played
of
it
us.
for their parents. I played the podcast.
Oh, I bet they loved that.
They did.
Hello, Tony Thaxton.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You were away on a brief vacation that I enjoyed looking at pictures of on
Yes.
Instagram.
Thank you. Yeah. Literally, after we recorded last Monday, I went home, edited the episode, went to bed pretty much shortly after that, and then we got up early, flew to Hawaii, and then I got back at 5:00 this morning.
Crazy.
How are you feeling? Are you really, really tired? And also, how many minutes are we into this? Because I forgot again to turn on my thing.
We are 9.5 minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
that movie.
I'm tired. I came home and slept a little bit, but I also just don't. I'm a terrible sleeper to begin with, and then take me away from home, and I'm even worse. And I slept like garbage. We had a great time, but I slept like garbage every night. And,
What about Flo?
Oh, she can sleep anywhere, and it's infuriating.
Did she sleep on a plane?
Yeah,
For her.
and I cannot
Self-care flow.
I almost had a meltdown on the flight back this morning because my the seat was so uncomfortable to me, and my shoulder was killing me. I was the most tired I hadn't been that tired in a long time. And when you're so tired and you know you're not going to sleep where you are, and you know that you're not going to be able to for several hours still, and you're just stuck in that chair uncomfortable.
And now you're here? Like, and those were 16 hours of no sleep later.
Well, no, we slept a couple hours when we got home. But no, near meltdown on the flight.
I understand. I really dislike being physically uncomfortable as well, and certain airplane seats are just like,
tough.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I recently flew back to Kansas to Tony. My college punk band did a reunion show.
Nice.
I figured we could bond over that for a moment.
Nice.
And
also,
there's never a bad time to rock and roll, man.
Very true. And not all planes, even from the same brand of plane, are created equal. And I very much was uncomfortable on the way there, but much more comfortable on the way home. I don't know what was going on.
You got to look at Seat Guru and you find your seat map and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Allison is like a pro with the seat.
But, I don't always get it right. Occasionally there's an electrical box like underneath where your feet would go.
You learn about airline seats the way I had to learn about like diamonds when shopping for the
wedding ring. Yeah.
You just become an expert.
But only for like 4 months.
And then you forget
Ask me
everything.
anything I don't know. 4 C's, but that's all I know.
Right.
And then and it stops mattering. But airplane seat knowledge will always matter.
They've just gotten so awful though. Now, American used to have like their business first class section and then everything else. And now they have that. It's basically the business section and then what used to be normal and then extra cramped. But they call the extra cramped normal, which they shouldn't. They should say like extra bad.
Yeah. All airlines should just change their slogan to, this sucks. What else are you going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
Go ahead and hitchhike.
Yeah.
I was just going to say business in the front, not a party in the back.
No.
Not at all.
No. Rob, you were in a band? I didn't know this. Did everyone know
what
this?
was the name of this
What did
band
you play?
in Kansas?
Well, we were a band called the Wolves, and it was band.
But
is
the
such
Wolves, not the Wolves?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And
That's the punk.
yeah, the thing is that I say band loosely because we didn't play any instruments. We were kind of like the Beastie Boys. I think the best thing anyone could say about it is that we weren't good, but if you wanted to raise the energy of your local show 10%, you put us on the bill.
Well, that sounds very punk, and it's like Flipper. We suffered for our art. Now it's your turn.
Exactly. And the thing is that like there was a point in time when we were making music where it was fun and experimental and just very digital and like, yelly and screamy and stuff. One of our favorite bands was called the Blood Brothers. I don't know if maybe some of your listeners.
I'm friends with Cody from
Okay. I love, Burn Piano Island Burned was like a very instrumental album. No pun intended. But like then there was like this era in college where we were probably partying a little too much, and we kind of got like Judd Apatow humory about us, and I was just kind of like, we're just doing hats on hats, and we should have just gotten back to our roots. And so,
Which was more like what kind of movie? Like John Hughes?
Yeah, probably a little bit more avant-garde, like The Big Shave or something.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
I think that was Scorsese's short film in college. But we decided to do all new songs for this reunion show. So my buddy and I spent 2 months. He does a lot of the sequencing, and then we would just meet over like Discord and Zoom and say like, how do we, because it was more of a performance than it would be like actually playing songs. And it was a blast. We had a lot of fun. We played this place called the Replay Lounge. It was their 30th anniversary. And here's the thing. I'm sure, Tony, you know this as well. Like a lot of times when you're up and coming, like venues will treat you poorly. And maybe it's hard to get money. And especially when you're a local band, like you're really just like, here's 3 pitchers of beer. Don't you love playing music? And I don't drink anymore. And so I was just like, I love that they're offering this to me. And then they said, we'll help you fly out. And I was like,
wow.
Nice.
No local venue has ever offered anything like that, I'll do it. And then I just told my buddy, since it's two of us, I was like, anything that we get on top of this is yours. He's got a family and 2 kids, like.
Oh, that's so nice.
Just, and it's not even like me being, whatever, I did such a great thing, but it was like such a good experience and so fun to go back and revisit it with like new stuff that I felt was fun. But of course we got there and they'd be like, we didn't think anyone remembered anything we'd ever done. And like anyone we ran into in this small college town was like, are you going to play dump trucks? Are you going to play, this other song? And we're like, no, but I guess now we kind of have to.
So fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I had a blast, but as I told, my partner afterwards, I texted her right before I got on the flight to come home. And I was like, I think I'm done. I think we don't need to do that again. It was good to come back 10 years later and do this, but I'm done.
Yeah.
And it was always the two of you?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally we had like someone sit in and play like live drums or live keyboard or something like that. But it was generally, it was conceived by the two of us and we just did that. As the two
That's
of us.
so cool.
Yeah.
I have to ask you a question, and I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Sure.
However, I have noticed lately that a lot of people refer to their significant other as their partner.
Uh-huh.
And oftentimes when someone says and this shows how
Well, we're also lawyers. So.
This shows how old I am. That usually when someone says my partner, I think is that a same-sex partner.
Sure. Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, when they say that, it's not actually. So when did, Robin, do you refer to Sam as your partner?
Not really.
How long have you been using partner to explain it to me?
To be fair.
Yeah, I want to know too.
To be fair, I go back and forth.
Okay. And this is your someone you've been with for 10
years or so. Yeah. We refer to her on podcasts as Mrs. Columbo.
Cute.
Just to keep it secret.
Uh-huh.
And her and I met in college. We broke up shortly afterwards, moved away, got back together when I moved to New York, and we've been together ever since. So that combined time has been over 10 years. And, for a while it was girlfriend, significant other, like my favorite Limp Bizkit album. And then
is that really how did I miss that highlight on their discography?
Whoa.
Because you're more into
$3 bill, y'all?
no, what's the terrible? I started to say it. And then I
Chocolate
stopped-
starfish?
and the hot dog flavored water.
Yeah. And so, at this point.
That's the proper reaction.
Exactly.
It was a dark time.
That's how I sound when Daniel says dequants on the snappy.
Yes.
And so,
Will you cut Daniel's, make a drop of Daniel's grunt? Because I feel like there's a lot of grunt played that's about to
Grunt
happen.
work.
Yeah. Ooh. So good.
Great. This is great.
Sorry,
All
Rob.
gold. No.
By the way, my grunt work is now covered under the new SAG agreement. Very exciting. So
Very
you owe me
exciting.
more. Allison.
I'll be making some AI grunts.
Yes.
And so, when I'm in a more formal setting like this podcast, I generally will say partner, but it's also just to keep it simple. But obviously that has done the direct opposite of that plan.
No,
Now that I've
I feel
explained
like normally it does, but because it had been on my mind
Sure.
lately. And thank you for classing it up
Well,
when you're on this podcast.
That's generally what I do on every podcast.
Yeah.
Class
Like
it
a
up.
formal setting.
Right.
But I will have to say, I need to say an extreme thank you to her because our dog, Elvis, recently went through surgery.
Oh, yeah.
And she is at home watching him, and he is in very much whine mode. And that is not like Wine Mom in a whiny, yelly mode because he doesn't get to do whatever he wants. So thank you for watching him.
Thank you, Mrs. Columbo partner.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Robin.
Yes, Allison.
You went on a trip that you need to fill us in on.
The yoga retreat.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there's been I think we're done traveling for this year. We have to be. It's too much.
Yeah,
Now,
you
is
went to
that-
Nantucket.
Is that the
Yeah.
royal?
No, Nantucket's great. But I we had to go to like Chicago, and then we just got back from a trip to New York, which was a bummer and fun, but a bummer. And so, yeah, the yoga retreat was right before we went to New York. It was cuckoo for Coco. It was crazy.
Where was it? Tell us
It
everything.
was-
I've never been on a yoga retreat.
Okay,
I've only
here's
been to
the
one
thing.
yoga class.
I've been on so many yoga retreats starting from like the time I graduated from college. I wanted to travel. and like do yoga. And I got really into yoga when I lived in New York City. And I would go to yoga retreats all the time because I didn't want to travel by myself. And so I did them for years, and like truly up until right before I got together with Sam.
What exactly is a yoga? In my mind, I'm imagining like a hilltop, some nice views, maybe a room with big open window doors.
Yeah. All of that.
Oh, see, you're picturing like the
Like a little resort you go to.
TV version of a yoga retreat.
Yeah, like something where you basically
like
go.
White Lotus.
Maybe.
Yeah. A little bit.
Or Nine Perfect Strangers.
Yeah.
Just it's basically a place where you go, like Esalen. Esalen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esalen.
Erewhon is how it's pronounced.
Esalen and Erewhon.
exactly
I
like
bet they
Erewhon.
serve Erewhon at Esalen.
Is Erewhon a cult?
Well, yeah, there's a big new article on
Is that what that
Really?
is?
in the New York Magazine.
I need to
yeah.
read this
the
yesterday.
New York Magazine.
Also, elf makeup.
Oh.
Is it cult?
Yes, but
Really?
we can
Also, is that
like
you know-
I have Alf. I use Alf.
Hold on.
we can well. Here's the thing. I want to hear about Robin's trip, but I can inform you on their
Please.
cult-like tactics.
Oh
they
my
have been
God.
using.
I've got to hear that.
and also
Eyes,
you know
lips,
that
face.
you know that Chinese like dance troupe, that Shen Zhuan or whatever.
Yeah.
Shenyun.
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 Yeah.
Also a cult.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've heard
Great.
that too.
Also,
they make
the
beautiful
Moonies.
things.
Okay.
Right.
Smarty. You trying to outsmart everybody over here?
I was just making a joke.
All right. So anyway, yoga retreats.
So basically, like, I will say the last time I traveled really far for a yoga retreat was probably like 2015. I went to Belize.
Every time you say that, you're
Whoa.
almost saying yoga retreat.
I've been hearing
You
it
can
too.
have a lot
I've
of
been
yoga
hearing it
out of
too.
yoga
Frozen
retreat.
yoga
Sorry.
retreat.
No apology necessary.
Yoga
That was just
retreat.
A
It's because I'm blending the words together. I'm not
yeah.
saying yoga retreat.
I'm just fantasizing about a yoga retreat,
But
though. Sorry.
this was
Oh my
so.
God.
And I will say,
Yo
just
play,
as
I play.
I don't know, and we can talk about it more later. But just as a thing, I went to a yoga retreat in Belize, like in 2016, and I think Belize is not the best place to travel, and we can talk more about it later. But like, I think it's not the best place to travel based on my experiences there. So if you're a young woman and you're listening to this podcast and you're at your yoga studio and it says yoga retreat in Belize, you say. That sounds like fun. I'm going to pass. I'm going to wait till it's somewhere a little more familiar.
This is such a specific scenario that
I
you're
know.
warning them about.
Sorry,
I love it. No, it's
this
good.
yoga retreat that I went on 2 weeks ago in Sequoia National Park made me think about the last yoga retreat I went on in Belize.
Was
And
this like a corrective healing experience?
I think so, because I love to go on retreats. But here's the thing. A lot of these yoga retreats have been for like serious yogis, at least in the New York phase. And they were not fancy at all by any stretch of the imagination. The one in Belize, not fancy. Not luxury really at all. Like the focus is really the yoga and like doing stuff like yoga-y.
Like just twisting yourself into pretzels.
Yeah, like 3 classes a day. Just like and you eat like crazy vegan and you're just like doing.
And farting.
And I
like to
used
hear
to go
more
to
about
this
that.
place up in upstate New York called Ananda Ashram, and it's just like it's so serious, right? So serious. And my friend Liz, for her birthday, asked me if I would do this yoga retreat with her in Sequoia National Park, and I said yes. And the thing is, there was so much booze.
Oh wow, that is so unexpected.
So much booze. It said on like the informational thing, like, bring wine if you want. And I don't drink wine, so I didn't even pay attention. And then the first night people were getting like, hey, how are you? Oh my God. Like one lady like crossed a boundary for me that was like crazy. And and it was because she just was feeling loose as a goose. And then
What
second
what
night,
But
boundary?
what was the boundary?
she knows my very good friend's daughter.
Oh,
And she just got a little too loose
Got
and
it.
said something she shouldn't have,
yeah.
Little too
which
much.
was a bummer because I was like, oh, I just met you.
Yeah.
And you're, So I was like, oh no, now I don't know. I'm not a mom, but I'm just like, I feel weird about people going too far about people's
Sure.
kids.
Yeah.
And that was too far. So that was like the first night of like loosey goosey.
Right.
And then second night, it got like more loosey goosey. And then by the third night, like I couldn't have had dinner fast enough to get out because it was the kind of thing where it felt like being in a strip club. I'm not kidding. Like people started just kind of like slinking up to you and dancing.
Ugh.
And I was
Was there
just,
music
like,
playing?
There was music playing. Somebody had a speaker. And I was like, oh my God. Like this is my nightmare for 100 reasons. But you know that drunk energy of like, get up and dance.
Yeah, I
and
hate
I
it.
had to leave. And so anyway, it was just a group of really interesting women. One of them stole my lunch.
No.
My lunch was stolen on the day we went into the national park.
What?
My lunch.
Are you sure it
was
wasn't Yogi Bear? Because I feel like you
stolen.
would do that. Yeah.
Yogi Bear was nowhere to be found.
Okay.
I think we need like a dun dun dun.
Yes.
Did you call her out on the lunch theft?
Wait, do you know who it was?
I don't actually.
Okay.
I think I
That's the
ultimately know who it was. But
Is
my
there a
lunch,
Facebook
there were
group you
20
can-
people, 21 people, and there were only 20 lunches. And I was the last one to go up and get a lunch.
Oh, I see.
You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Wait,
somebody
sorry.
took two.
There were
Someone took two. This is a real. Didn't this happen in Squid Game?
Hunger Game.
Oh
The
my
Squid
God.
Game, yeah.
I've never seen it.
Well, not. It just means you have to kill her now.
I know, but I was really hungry. I
Wait,
mean, my
what's
friend
the
Liz
rules?
split with me.
What was the lunch?
It was peanut butter and jelly and like hummus. And we were fine. It was totally fine. But it was like a little bit tough to be like hiking as much as we were.
Yeah.
And then knowing like you have no lunch.
What makes
Question: was there also bread?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was peanut butter jelly sandwich.
just-
I'm just wondering
was it just 3
how
spoons?
extreme
Right.
the situation.
That's messed
was.
up
And
to
then-
steal someone's lunch, though.
And then the other thing I want to say is that I don't really connect very much with sound baths. And I think I might be slightly
Normal?
sound sensitive. I don't know. Like I can get into... In fact, in those old, like late 90s, early 2000s yoga retreats, no one did a sound bath. Like, this is new.
Describe a
Lisa
sound
Barlow
bath.
over here.
Yeah, exactly.
And they stress me out. Like, I can't get into
Can you
it.
describe what that is?
It's like there's a person with like 3 different bowls.
Oh, it's so good.
Really good.
Oh my God, this is coming out of your
I
mouth.
work in audio.
That was
I work in
great.
audio.
That's so
It's
good.
very good.
Yeah, have you
And-
seen it? They like have a bowl
But do
and
they
like
move
a.
around?
They did it. They
or is
did
it
it on
just-
SLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it is. Anytime you do a sound bath,
Yeah.
it's those.
It's those bowls.
It's usually not in a
with
jewelry
like an
store,
instrument
but-
with
I
a
don't know.
And then what are you supposed to do? What's it supposed to
You're
do
supposed
for
to lay
you,
on the
though?
ground and like feel the frequency, whatever. There was a mini class before the sound bath on pelvic floor muscles that everybody went to but me. And
Oh, so everyone's pelvic floors were just
everyone's
exhausted.
pelvic floors were exhausted. But
Feeling the
here's the thing:
vibrations.
in the half hour that they were in that fakakta pelvic floor class,
Yeah.
Matthew Perry died.
Oh,
And I walk into that sound bath
you were not
being
in a good
the
headspace.
only one that knows Matthew Perry died because
Right.
they weren't looking at their phones. And then I spent like the entire sound bath, like sort of not only thinking about how sad that is, but just being like, I am from the future. I know that Matthew Perry died and they do not. Like, I don't, and
Yeah.
then like at dinner,
It's a
everyone
Rob's
was like,
responsibility to have that knowledge.
I didn't like it. Plus those sounds from the bowls that don't relax me. And then at dinner, everyone's like, oh my God, did you hear that Matthew Perry died? And I had to like pretend that I didn't know. I just felt like that was the right thing to do.
It's probably
I just
it's the
faked it.
easier. It's the
It
easier
was
situation.
easier instead of being like, yeah, I didn't go to pelvic floor. And then my friend Bonnie had texted me that he drowned.
It's like there's always, and I don't mean this necessarily in a negative way, but it could potentially, like in group text scenarios, I feel like there's always the person that wants to share the celebrity death first.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
And it does feel better. Like I never know what that person's necessarily getting out of that, but I understand why they're doing it. Right?
Right.
They're sharing the info. In this situation, it's like, yeah, it would have been way too much to just be like, actually, yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
And here's
And
how,
I-
and
and I
here's when,
chose
and
not
I
to
chose
tell
not
you.
to
So
tell you.
yeah, the path of least
You had
resistance
to.
to be like, oh my God, so sad. And you want, in my head, I'm screaming like, I fucking broke this story. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I have to pretend like I did
You
it.
should have been like Matthew Perry from Journey.
Oh my God.
Just make
Why?
them explain.
Steve Perry, right?
Now I have 600 questions.
Okay.
Correct.
Why did you not go to the pelvic floor class? Is it because it sounds Kegely?
I just wasn't feeling it. It's giggly. I don't know. We had sort of a day. It wasn't calling to me. The Kiglies weren't calling to me.
You should never do anything on a yoga retreat that you don't feel comfortable
I
doing.
know,
That's
but
a
then
good
I
rule.
felt like
That's
some sort of
It's surely my
prophet.
number one rule.
Yeah.
And then
I don't go past downward dog. Do you know how to do downward dog?
Of
I can do
course
that one.
I do.
Here's the thing.
How about upward dog?
When I was in college, I had to do a lot of movement classes because I
Yes.
graduated in theater, and there, I did not realize that it was pretty much just a yoga class, and it really it was great having I graduated in early 2000s and had never barely ever even stretched. I was a punk rock kid, but I loved a performance, and.
Yeah.
It was great, and then we went into mask work and all that stuff afterwards.
what's mask quirk?
Mask work.
Sorry.
Mask. That's like a yogurt retreat.
Yeah.
That's where everyone adopts the
Mask
same quirk together without
No,
telling
I
each
get
other
the
what it
mask.
is.
Mask quirk is that phenomenon that I dislike in Brooklyn where people are walking around with imaginary dogs pretending to pet them. Mask quirk is a flash mob.
mob.
It's SantaCon.
Oh my God.
No, thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Mask work is where our friend Harlequino, the clown that comes out on the street when we walk the dog, that's part of mask work.
Yeah.
A lot of mask quirk in Leslie's.
Can I ask you a yoga
Yeah,
question? though?
please.
Do you ever use Apple Fitness Plus?
No.
Well, they have
I do.
yoga classes on there.
Cool.
And it is cool. I can't get into those yoga classes though because since I don't have every move memorized, if I'm trying to do
You're
downward
looking at
dog,
this- you
I
have
have
to
to
look at-
look up to see what they're doing, and then I feel like I lose my whatever the
Wow.
feng
This is-
shui is of yoga.
You do this on the computer
Well,
or it's on your phone?
it's either on the phone or we have an Apple TV box, so we put it on the TV.
Oh, cool.
So Miss Columba loves it. But I cannot get into that. I'll have to do the high intensity training regimen or whatever,
Right.
where I can just watch them jump and I do the move in the back. That's the person who
Low
can't jump.
intensity?
Yeah, the low intensity. Follow Greg if you can't do what I'm doing. That's the guy I follow. But yeah, it's good stuff. I do highly recommend that for
Robin.
yoga
Yes.
home.
Back to the lunch.
Yes.
act.
The missing lunch.
You said that you think that you know who took it. What makes you think? Was one person look at
full. It was burping a lot.
One person.
Going, wow, look at my 2 lunches.
I don't know.
Withholding
Here-
2 lunches? That'd be a dead giveaway.
Here's what it really is. And I also want to mention, I also made a note to discuss the loud breakfasts at most yoga retreats. At most yoga retreats, it's a silent breakfast.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just like
Everyone, you mean the rule is that
the
it's
rule is
Yeah, some of
silent
them are-
breakfast. And I practice that rule in my home. I'm
great
one of
rule.
2 people that practices. There's someone else does not practice silent breakfast.
That's like in our house, we have silent nothing. Nothing is silent. We
Wait.
have a child.
How many people? Oh, you mean one of you practices it
yeah.
and the other one doesn't?
Yeah,
Okay,
one
I
of us
understand.
is a firm believer in
Did you
silent
hear about Matthew
breakfast.
Perry? I'm trying to eat my oatmeal.
Does he know?
Yeah, I think he's figured it out. But
Okay.
it was born out of all those yoga retreats where we just sat. It was so nice to just gather your thoughts in the
Yeah.
morning. This was like the loudest bullshit you've ever heard at 7 a.m. Pre-yoga,
No.
pre-hiking. We're at a 12.
So wait, it was
and
a-
I sat in the back with my coffee and my phone, and I needed to just read the news. And I just was like, oh, you know what? If I can do this anywhere, I can do this at a yoga retreat. But I was feeling a little like that wasn't the case.
You're supposed to be social.
That I was supposed to be social even at that hour. And then later that night when everybody was starting to dance and try and pull me up and stuff, I was like, the yoga retreat should be the one place you can be guys, I'm fully not, we've done 3 yoga classes today and hiked 12 miles. I'm going to bed. That should be the one place where they go, cool. I have space for you. I feel you. They shouldn't be dry humping you on your
Was
leg.
it just women?
Yes.
Do you now the other retreats, have they been co-ed?
Yes and no. If they're not all women, there's maybe one dude.
I'm wondering if part of the reason it was more high energy was because it was all women. I don't know how that
Ooh,
works.
uh-oh.
high energy plus, but at night and in the morning. So
Yeah.
maybe if there were a few ladies that weren't drinking at nighttime,
Right.
they were the ones that were high energy in the morning. I wasn't really keeping track.
Mimosas, probably.
Yoga
Crazy.
people are probably morning people generally, right?
Robin's a morning person.
I try to be.
No offense, I'm not.
None
you have to make it
taken.
offensive. I mean, it's
I
a
mean,
little.
I'm a little offended.
It's a little weird.
Did
but-
your friend have fun?
She had so much fun. We both had a lot of fun. And I will say this, Sequoia National Park is only 3 hours away. It's really pretty. It's like a more manageable Yosemite, and I think much more beautiful, frankly, because it's not as crowded and it's not as affected by the fires. But it was beautiful, but it was just like it was like aging marker for me. Like these are the kinds of yoga retreats that exist now. I don't know. It was just kind of like a weird.
What do you mean? Like for you? They're the kind that exist for you, or
Yeah.
just generally they don't have.
Like I think I might like Rob
she's
is saying
outgrowing.
about like going back and doing the thing with the band. I think this moment where I say yes to my friends and yoga retreats might be over because it just was a little too much. But
time for
I would
yoga
say
retreats.
the yoga was
Ooh, yeah.
fantastic. It was just like I think I'm done with that type of vacation, and I wasn't expecting that.
So speaking of reunions, because I know, Robin, you went to your actual college reunion and then you
Yes.
had kind of a yoga reunion.
Yeah.
And then Rob, you just had this reunion. And
I wasn't
went,
invited to my high school reunion. Just gonna put that out there.
Why?
I have no idea.
Did they hear you on my show?
Probably, or heard me on my show.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I cut you
That
off.
I say
That
we
had to have
protest.
been an oversight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably organized it on Facebook, which
Yeah.
I'm not
Yes.
part of.
Yeah,
There
I'm
were
not on Facebook either.
There were earlier ones that I don't recall hearing about it from my high school. But anyway, I went to my high school reunion, and I was just thinking the other day how weird it was that I was sitting there for 2.5 hours with people that I went to high school with, and we basically interacted as if we have seen each other. I mean, there was catching up, but it was also like the familiar. People have heard me talk about how I did not really love the reunion because for the most part it was a room full of people that's like I know well enough that I feel like I should say hi, but it's not like I really need to catch up with them because I don't know them that. I didn't know them that well, but except for like this core group, sitting there hanging out with them, and the familiarity is like when we were in school. And then we just went off on our separate ways, and like we haven't talked since.
Right.
And there's something so surreal about it.
I was actually
It's like a
just
dream.
thinking about
Yeah,
that
it
because
is.
when I went home, I saw people who I would have considered some of my best friends,
Yeah.
10 years ago or even less. I left to move to New York in like 2015, I think. So, but I was, on the outskirts preparing for my move for almost a year and working so much that I wasn't hanging out with people. But like some of those folks I hung out with reconnected. It was like no time had passed. We exchanged numbers again. Some of them had new, and we haven't talked since I came back, and that's fine. Maybe that's where the relationship is now. Some people, and then there was, I kind of categorized this as two interactions I had, not necessarily the people, but the interactions, because this really did feel like a reunion of sorts, going back to like the music scene in Kansas and just seeing the people you would see at these venues and such, or that you used to work with in the service industry. And there were some people where it was just like, oh, hey, what's up? What have you been up to? And kind of wanted to talk your ear off, but there was no substance. And then there were people who were like, hey, and this only happened a couple times, but they would say like, you did X, and I don't think I ever said something about that. And it was like a significant,
fuck you. Like
no,
that.
like a
I'm
good
just
thing, though.
kidding.
But yeah, well, there was a couple of those, but there were like a couple of significant things where it's like, oh, I didn't know you were hanging on to that, and I'm really glad we got to have this moment. And that felt really, good because I got to say my piece back to them, because I worked in like live events and music and booking people's up and coming bands and stuff back and then. And it was just so interesting that it's like a flash in a pan of relationships, right? There's substance, there's people that you care about and they care about you, but it is that one extra step of like, where do you continue that conversation? That sometimes it's okay that it is just there,
It's
and
kind of like
just
magical
this
in the
moment.
moment. It
Yeah.
means a lot in the moment, and then you just kind of like recede to your regular life.
Exactly, because it almost wouldn't be the same. But it is weird. And on my drive out here, I was thinking the exact same thing of like, how surreal and weird is that? You know, I'm still getting over it.
It raises the question for me, at least this is where I'm at, reunion wise. I have a friend who loves reunions. We'll go to every reunion ever. My dad is like that. But so I went to the this young actor space reunion in August, which was like the most magical day of my life. And then something didn't feel as magical about my college reunion. And I don't know what it was. I think a lot of things happened that weekend that were tough. Like, you know, it was just the whole thing was weird. All of that to say, it raises the question of like, can you really go back? Does it mean something to go back? And is this the reason like Back to the Future is so popular? Like truly, like has all of storytelling throughout time, like, you know, hinged on like the idea of going back home.
And that you can't. I feel like all of storytelling is
ultimately it's very hard to. I mean, look at the Hallmark movies, you know.
Right.
But in those you can go home.
So for Sketchfest in 2020, right before the pandemic, I did my podcast and my band reunited. We were like Tony was there. And that for me really was like, oh, you can go back.
Oh, cool.
And it was so much fun and so magical. And when we were done, I was like, let's do more shows. Like, and I mean, I think it's like everyone theoretically wanted to, like, oh, that sounds good. But like the actual mechanics of we don't live in the same town, you know, and also like our lives are different now. But why did I bring this? Oh, can you go back?
Going back.
Yeah. But I guess the reason not really. Like in
it's crazy.
In bits you can, but not really.
Yeah.
And then just to completely bring it down, I am wondering if anyone has this experience where maybe this is about to get dark. Someone was like really important to you at one point and they died. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time you had this fantasy of like, if they came back, what it would be like. And then the realization maybe now of like, if they came back, it would probably be akin to these situations we're talking about, where you'd have like a magical interaction with them, but like your life is not in that place anymore.
Right. Yeah. That's tough, but true.
I completely agree. And, you know, this week marks, you know, staying on the dark path.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I forgot your brother. Yeah.
Well, my brother passed away as of next week. And one of my, but that's been since like 2006. Mm-hmm. So I'm over like the initial shock of that by, you know, many years. But one of my really good friends, Maury, passed away 2 years ago. And she was a punk rocker. She was also like incredibly like successful in her businesses. And her husband is still a friend of mine. He's moved on. He's got a great life now. But I was thinking about her because, you know, the posts pop up and everything on socials. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I was able, like, a lot of times you don't get to have the closure with someone, right? Mm-hmm. Like when my pops passed away or when my brother passed away, I did not get to have that with them. But I did get to have it with a very close friend, which is so important. But I've never had the thing of like, what if she was back, right? But I have had the thing of like, since I was able to have that closure, thinking about there are significant points when I moved to New York where her and her husband really helped me. Like helped me with my career, helped me with advice, proofreading, giving me job interviews that they knew I wasn't going to get, but knew I needed to like take that interview. And I'm forever grateful. And that is actually what brings like the happy memories back, is because they didn't have to do that. I actually met them when my band played a New Year's Eve show in Iowa City in like 2009. And then when I moved to New York in 2015, 2016, I randomly bumped into them on the corner of Soho, had lost all communication with this couple. And we just ran into each other next to the Angelica. And they come over to our apartment, come see, let's catch up. And
so nice.
It was like, it was so great. So it's like, it's double-edged sword, you know, it sucks. But it's also like, wow, I have all these like great things to think about too. So
yeah,
you know, Yeah,
And
it
when
is
you
what-
go back, it brings back some tough it's like it's almost a case for going back of just if you need closure with people.
Yeah,
Oh God,
yeah.
am I too close to the microphone?
You're too far.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I want to know. Robin asked, "Am I too close to the microphone?" When she was like 18 inches away from the microphone.
Is that good? But yeah, there's a reunion in April for the comedy group I was in college. It's celebrating their 50th anniversary, and a lot of my friends are going. But I'm like, I was just there. I don't know. I feel very done with traveling,
Yeah.
especially after my lunch got stolen.
Now, can I
Yes.
just, there's one thing when you were talking about your yogurt retreat that
Yes.
really, and as a writer,
Yes.
it just pinged my favorite line from Frasier that
Okay.
I've never known exactly what it means, and I'm hoping that maybe
Yes.
you can help me with this.
Okay.
He says that someone danced Agamemnon at Jacob's pillow, and that's all I could think about.
I don't even know what that means. And I'm
yeah.
laughing.
That's all I could think about when you're talking about a yoga retreat.
Dance. I can translate that
Oh,
for
please.
you. That's so funny.
Please parse.
Danced Agamemnon, so like did this special ballet that's based on the Greek text of Agamemnon at Jacob's Pillow, which is a very famous dance company in the Berkshires. Very hoity-toity. Like if you're in the Berkshires in the summertime, you go to Jacob's Pillow.
Okay.
No one likes to make a Jacob's Pillow joke more than Sam Foreman. We'll make one any chance
And
he
that's
gets.
who wrote
And
it.
that's one of the reasons I love him.
Yeah.
But yes, Frasier, God.
Yeah.
You know, in the Frasier room, you had to have like a fully fledged, done, baked, polished, brilliant pitch if you raised your hand.
I feel like they don't have to do that in the new Frasier series.
They
Haven't
don't.
seen any
Maybe
of
they
it.
don't have that standard in the reboot.
Still
Is that-
enjoying it.
Yeah.
but-
Have you watched it?
I watched the pilot.
And it's not.
Look, I think any sitcoms that are being made right now, God bless. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
rip on the Frasier reboot, but it's tough that they don't have a lot of the cast
Yeah,
back.
I think that's.
I was surprised. Yeah, I haven't watched it.
You
I just
know.
see, I
Wait,
saw the
they don't have
commercial and I was like,
such
wait,
a
how are
great-
they even
It's
calling
all new
this?
people.
It's
he in
all
Boston?
new people, and
He's back
you
in
know
Boston.
He's
that
back
was
in
a
Boston.
really tight comedy ensemble, and I can see what they're trying to do with this cast. Like they're trying to make like a Big Bang with old people comedy sitcom, but it doesn't. They're trying to rebuild that comic ensemble, and it's just like not our favorite. We just don't know them as well.
Well, and
Why-
it's only 5 episodes in. So
Why
it's
could
like-
they not get
I think
the originals? Do you know?
David I. Pierce, Perry Gilpin,
Yeah,
the lady who was on Throb, Jane Leaves. Remember Throb?
I don't know Throb.
You guys, everyone, stop what you're doing and look up the sitcom Throb. But Jane Leaves' first sitcom was Throb. And when I saw her on Frasier, I was like, oh my God, the star of Throb has
Oh,
a
hell yeah.
great
This was
new
an
job.
American
Yeah.
sitcom.
Yeah.
I had no
But apparently,
idea.
Perry Gilpin is rumored to come on as like a cameo this
I believe
season.
that.
Do
I
they
believe
have
that.
any of the Cheers people on it? I mean,
I
if
don't
you're in
think so.
Boston,
They
Yeah,
haven't yet,
they're
but
definitely
they're
in
still
Boston.
establishing the world. And
Yeah.
I will say, one of the more recent episodes, I texted my friend, my only other friend I know who's like enjoying watching it with me, and I was like, this latest episode is the closest thing that I've seen to original Frasier and like the farce and sort of thing. Like, and not to give too much away, but June Diane Raphael is in the
Yeah.
episode as a guest star, and Frasier and his son Frederick are
Freddie.
getting set up on a
Frederick.
blind date, and neither one of them know if June is for Frasier or
That's
for
kinda
Freddie. And it's just that silly Frasier like 1-act play or 2-act play sort of farce that it worked well, I think, because it makes you even question things as a viewer. You know,
Right.
It's like, why would you think that? And why would you think that
Is he still a radio shrink?
No.
he's got a podcast.
Yeah, he
Are you
leaves-
serious?
No, I don't.
This is the Frasier moment of the podcast. At the end of Frasier, he leaves the radio to do a television talk show akin to like Dr. Phil or something at the time. And now he's quit that because they turned him into like a circus person. Like it turned into more
Like
of like an
Maury.
Ellen or
Yeah.
something, or a Maury, where it's more like goofy dancing and stuff and
Oh.
pet tricks
That's
and
kinda
whatnot. And so now he's like an adjunct professor
At Harvard.
At Harvard.
At Harvard.
But everyone wants
course.
him to be the goofy TV person.
Yeah.
Where's it airing? Maybe I'll watch it.
Paramount Plus.
Of course.
One
And
of
the
the best streaming services.
Do we have
I
that,
feel like the
Daniel?
first 2
we
episodes
do.
are also on Hulu.
Oh, I think you're right.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of mental health, wait, what does he teach a class in? Is it mental health?
I don't remember.
Radio advice.
Radio.
Podcast.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. This time of year can be a lot, and it's natural to feel some sadness or anxiety about it. But adding something new and positive to your life can counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all of the stress and change, something to look forward to make you feel grounded and to give you the tools to manage everything going on. That's how I feel about therapy. And one of my favorite things is when my therapist gives me a compliment or laughs at something I said, or the best is when she laughs despite herself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I said so. I was like, I wish I could remember exactly what I said. It was one of my best therapy laugh moments. Oh God.
Have you ever made your therapist cry?
Well, okay.
That's the therapy Olympics.
I do think I have.
Yeah.
But it could have just been like she had allergies or her eyes were watering. I've never made my
You made her
therapist
cry.
sob.
Yeah.
I would like to think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'll remember the thing that I said that like my therapist like had to catch her breath. It was just a funny turn of phrase.
Good for
A la
you.
me. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bestfriend today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bestfriend. And I also want to say, check out my Monday episode with Justin Martindale. He is delightful, and we get into everything. And if you're listening and you don't know what that means, then maybe it will mean less to you than someone who's like, oh, did you guys talk about the thing? Yes, we did talk about it. And there's like a little bit of podcast beef happening. And he divulged in a respectful way, but I think it's getting like a little bit of attention right now. But also we talked about he has a tattoo that says Sugarfoot. Do you know about this?
Well, no, I was listening today.
Oh, thank you. It says Sugarfoot, and I asked what it is. His mother had a horse named Sugarfoot, and his grandfather sold that horse to Elvis Presley.
Whoa.
Priscilla Presley.
I was, and not to correct your own podcast, but it was a very high drama.
It really was. So anyway, his grandfather had a ranch.
Wow.
The Circle G Ranch, right? Something like that.
I think so.
Which sounds like, wait, have I heard of this ranch? Like, not like I've heard of a lot of famous ranches, but I'm thinking of Circle K.
When
I
there's
don't know.
a couple of ranches,
It's
you're
Circle
gonna.
G or is it Circle X Ranch?
Circle G.
Okay.
You know of a Circle X ranch?
Yeah. There's a Circle X in Malibu.
No, this is Circle G in Texas or
Oh,
something. Or was it Memphis? I can't
Oh,
remember.
right. It wouldn't be here.
Anyway, but maybe Circle something is like big in the ranch world.
Yeah.
Because the horses run around in a circle.
This is true.
That's probably it.
It's a reference to the arena, I guess. Anyway. So Elvis used to frequent this ranch, and I guess it was like so Justin's mom was like, or maybe even I forget. What a great storyteller I am.
Listen to Monday's episode.
I think it was like you can have any horse you want except for Sugarfoot. That's my daughter's horse. And then Priscilla was like, I want Sugarfoot. And then
Because she was 14. That's why.
probably she wanted Canopy Bed.
She
and
was a
Sugarfoot.
child. But go on.
But so anyway, he sold this horse to Elvis because you have to, I guess. I don't know. Or to Priscilla. But so Justin and Justin's mom have always been pretty anti-Priscilla.
Huh.
I know. If we had more time, I really would have gotten into like, let's talk about this.
But given the Sugarfoot of it all, why choose that to tattoo yourself with?
I think in honor of the injustice of the situation vis-a-vis his mom, we didn't like, we talked about it a bit.
Yeah.
But we didn't like, I didn't really really like pull the strings of.
I also think he said it was like a maybe in a drunk tattoo.
Oh, that's right. That's important as well. Thank you.
What are the chances that he will have the tattooed altered to say Sugarfish?
Wow.
Oh, like if he gets super into sushi?
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing when you say
we
Sugarfish.
could crowdsource that tattoo
Right.
change.
Yeah.
Or Sugar Ray.
The thing about Sugarfish sushi tattoos is like in and out. Like you have to eat it really quickly.
Yeah.
You can't get, or you'll
All
get
right.
Sugarfish.
Let's talk about Sugarfish for a minute.
Okay.
Let's do it. We've all been waiting for it.
Okay.
Is it all over the place?
All over the place in LA, like
Definitely
there's two
not in Kansas.
locations.
But it's-
Yeah, I don't think it's outside of California.
Okay.
I don't think.
It is very expensive.
Very
Yes.
expensive.
And it
Way
comes in a
overpriced.
really cool box.
correct.
That's what
That's
it has
the
going
only
for
two
it.
things you want from a restaurant, I think.
I find the sushi to be average. Like, it's good.
I will say this: when I worked for SiriusXM, I was out here on like a thing for Marvel that we were doing for the podcast world, and I was able to take someone to dinner on SiriusXM's dime, and it was definitely like, but I couldn't go too high.
You couldn't go Sasabune.
No, I went to, or Din Tai Fung for that matter.
Yeah.
But I did go to Sugarfish because I was like, I don't want to pay for Sugarfish.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But
No
this
one
will
should.
be fun
And?
for us, and it was a hit.
Did you get the cool boxes there though, or do they just
No,
come?
if you eat
No.
there, they
That's
bring.
a go.
That's the thing.
It was like
if
on a
you
slab.
eat if you get the box delivered, you can eat it in your own time.
Yeah, it's like a jewelry box,
It's
and there's like
beautiful.
a legend.
Yes,
and
Plays
they
music
tell
when you
you what
open
to
it.
Yeah.
dip. They should put a music chip in there.
Oh my
That's
God,
funny.
they should.
But
it'd be like
Birthday
MIDI.
cards.
It'd just be like
we had spent so many years, on if there was like a treat or a birthday or something, we'd order Sugarfish, whatever. And we went to the restaurant on La Brea a couple weeks ago, and Sam got Sugarfished. He got Sugarfished. He was not eating fast enough for them.
Wait, what does
Because
that
they,
mean?
like,
I
bring
actually
out-
don't know what this means.
It's kind of just like being at in almost like a rotating bar, and it's like you have to grab it, you have to eat it because like the next thing's on its way.
Oh yeah,
Like,
And
felt rushed.
Sam had like 2 plates. To his credit, you don't have to eat. He shouldn't have to eat fast.
Yeah.
But they said 2 different times, they were like, the sushi is best enjoyed when the dish is warm. But they said it in a really, like the second time they
Like
said
a
it. and I
sushi Nazi.
yeah. And the second time they said it, I was like, Sam, that's a secret message to you. You have to eat faster.
Yeah.
I
It's not
couldn't
even
have
that secret.
But the second time was so aggressive.
No, how did Sam feel about this? Because I would be like, I am going to eat so slow.
Yeah, I think he was
I'm
just
gonna-
like,
too
oh,
much.
this isn't like the experience I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he thought it would be more luxuriating in each piece because they are delicious pieces of sushi, especially when the rice is warm on the bottom.
It's good. I feel like it's way overrated, though. Like, people talk about
Yeah, I do too.
Sugarfish like it's
Yeah.
the best in LA, and there are
Oh, no, it's not the
hundreds
best
of
in
places
LA.
that are better.
Right.
I think I ate my favorite LA meal before we moved out to the middle of nowhere at Major Domo.
Oh, I've never been
I
there.
had
Where?
a blast.
Downtown?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And I would get the crispy rice any day of the week. And
Major
they didn't rush
Domo.
me.
Oh.
They didn't rush
Is
me
it a
at all.
sushi restaurant?
No, but it's like Asian fusion.
Mm.
I took Alan Yang suggested it, and so I was like, this guy knows his food.
There you go.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know who Alan Yang is.
He's a writer, right?
yeah, we worked on
Harvard.
Parks and Recollection together when I did that show.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
yeah.
You say Harvard?
He's a
He
Harvard.
could take a class from Frasier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's such a good idea. Alan Yang, if you're listening.
Definitely take a class in being a radio shrink.
Yeah, radio advice.
Radio advice.
They should do a podcast of just all the snippets from Frasier's radio show.
Yes.
That would be entertaining.
Is Dr. Laura still on?
I bet she has a podcast.
I have to believe that someone is paying her to
yeah,
do something.
there's a lot of money where in the area she's in.
I was driving. This is back when I had SiriusXM in my car before I decided I never use this
Yes.
anymore. So I have to cancel.
And then it took you 4 weeks to cancel, I'm sure.
But the best part is now they call me at least twice a week.
Oh my God.
Of course.
But anyway, I listened to her wax poetic about the joys of doing a Lego thing. Like, who knew that Dr. Laura has a secret life where she just hunkers down with a lot of Lego pieces, a big
Builds like
Lego
the
kit.
Titanic or something.
Yes, and she's like, and it's a lot of fun. She was so into it.
And
It was
morally, it's a great thing to do.
yeah, it was very surprising.
Very surprising.
Maybe she didn't-
Unsettling, I would say, more than
Yes.
surprising.
Yeah.
Next thing we're gonna have like Dr. Laura Twitch stream where she's just putting Legos
Doing
together.
Legos.
When she first started, she was like a no-nonsense New York shrink, right?
I think so.
Which sounds like Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
But like, then she became a little cuckoo, right?
Very, very.
Or just
I would say
super-
so.
Judgmental.
Cuckoo, or are we?
is she judgmental? I mean, is she cuckoo or is she just extremely judgmental?
Well, my dad listened to a lot of conservative radio growing
extremely,
up.
extremely
She would be
conservative.
right next to
With
Mr. Limbaugh.
Yeah.
on the-
Just sort of a sensationalist.
but now, does she speak about politics though, or just
That's
like,
the thing.
or
I
the
think
or
she's-
moralizing?
That's my question: is did she switch over to politics?
I don't remember.
I don't actually
'cause
know.
I think I was too young to understand that like there were different views to things at the time, and this
Yeah.
is just what was on the radio. But I do remember getting to a certain age where I was just like, this sounds more mean than
Yes.
anything else.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like what Frasier should teach in that class is that radio advice has to be mean to be popular. Apparently,
Yeah. That's the only way you're going to make it.
Yeah.
It's like that. What was that Eric Bogosian play? The
Talk radio.
The Mitten.
He becomes like talk radio, like a shock jock.
Do you remember Tom Leykis?
do I ever?
Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, of course you do.
Uh,
But like, where's that guy?
yeah, good question.
No, like for real. I feel like if anybody would know,
I mean, he's still alive.
he's definitely still alive. If you
He's
don't, folks, if you don't know who Tom Leykis is, it's worth a Google.
Leykis.
So Gustavo Arellano, who now has like a fairly big position at the LA Times, I'm not sure doing what, but he was the editor in chief. Well, no, he was an intern while a little bit after my tenure at the OC Weekly, and then he rose to be the editor in chief of the OC Weekly. I have had him on my podcast. He would post about going on Leykis's show.
Wow.
So, and this was in the last 8 years, let's say.
People who don't know, Leykis, I don't know if he was syndicated or was he just
He was
local?
syndicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would come on after Howard Stern out here in the early 2000s.
Right. And he would just basically tell young single guys how to get laid. and
Yeah.
not-
Like, only buy them a salad.
only buy him a salad. Don't ever, the big one, don't ever date a woman with kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is he like mystery?
It was kind of like pickup artisty stuff.
But he was like he almost had a Jabba the Hutt like quality, I think, in appearance, right?
Yeah.
And
Certainly
he
didn't
wore
look
like sunglasses
mystery.
and was always
Yeah,
like,
he had a Rush Limbaugh kind of look. Like he
Yeah.
looked like the MRA Rush Limbaugh kind of.
I guess like the fact that Tom Leykis was like following Howard Stern less than 20 years ago is a little crazy.
It was a weird time.
I
But
just didn't know what they were doing on these radio dials.
I remember watching a Howard Stern show,
Oh, yes.
and it was like
The
women.
E! Show? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
well, I don't know.
the
because it was
Channel
like-
9 show when they were like on local. And,
I know.
I
what
think it
you're
was
talking about.
probably.
E!
I think it was probably that, Robin,
right,
because it
that was before
was.
the E show.
And I feel like this is a topic that has come up on this show before. It was like women riding a Sibian.
Yeah. Oh, that,
That was
was
probably the
in
E!
the
show.
newer era. That wasn't during the series. Yes, that
But
was.
that
on
would have
And
been
I think
that
that
was on
gets-
the E show.
That was a
They were
later-
allowed
It
to
later
show
gets
that?
like conflated with what happens in the movie, right? Where he has the woman like ride a speaker.
Right, that's
So,
different.
I think
A
it's
Sibian
like,
came out after I think Private Parts when Private
Okay.
Parts took place.
I'm
Tony,
surprised-
look that up. Would you?
I'm surprised the E would show that.
I
Well-
don't.
No.
Didn't he also
I
do
don't-
like pay-per-view kind of things
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
I feel
too?
like I would have seen that. I feel like it was like
Oh, you're
late. It
talking
was like
about-
a late at night. Like almost my sense is that it was like a cable access.
Like you
thing.
could buy it on VHS by calling a 900
Yeah, I feel like that
number or
was like
something.
him in the aughts.
The Channel
Yeah,
9.
It's like
I guess so.
The 90s Stern is great. Like, that was just classic radio.
But Tom Leykis, guys, I wonder if his rules have been, if your rules have been successful, if Tom Leykis' rules have been successful for you as a man, because it was only made
Were
for
they
straight
successful
white
for
men.
anyone is the
That's
question.
my question.
Like,
I'm not, just DM me because I want to know if Tom Leykis' edicts were successful for you. I want to hear
I'm
from you.
remembering the salad advice because it's very funny because his theory was if you're on a date and you order a salad, no woman will order more than a salad.
that. Yeah.
Because they don't want to be like, if you have like a garden salad, they
my
will
God.
not order a steak.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's true.
It's diabolical.
It really is. But so then what's he saying? Like, eat before you go out.
Yeah. Eat before you
But
go out.
here's what he's not mentioning, which is like there are a lot of women who will lose respect for a guy who just orders a garden salad.
That's
for
what I
dinner.
was thinking.
Yes.
There's that whole like Seinfeld thing where he's just like, just a salad.
Yeah.
Just a salad. Just a salad. Because she takes him to like a steakhouse. And he's
Right.
like, I don't want a T-bone. Like, I'll just take a salad.
Here's
Yeah,
here's
exactly.
a question. Tony, can you play the snack chat drop?
I can. One moment. Sorry, I was pulling
Nope.
up other things.
No worries.
Snack chat.
Okay. You're at a restaurant. Super salad. What are you getting?
Depends on the soup.
Really? Okay, so we got it depends on the soup. Robin, what about you?
Mostly salad. Very surprising if I say soup.
What dressing?
I cannot answer that.
Would you like to hear what we have?
And no, no one will ever respect me again.
Thousand Island.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob.
It's going to have to depend on the soup. I think I would rather have a soup than a salad. But
So you typically order a soup, or you're picky with your soup. So
I'm very picky with my soup only because I am not a huge fan of onion. And a lot of soups.
Daniel just
hate
gave
onions.
Rob
Chunks.
the
I
thumbs
hate
up.
onions.
Yeah.
How can you hate onions?
Well, I like cooked
I know.
onions, but
And
raw
I can
onions
have certain amounts of cooked onions, but I had a traumatic onion experience as a child
my
at a
God.
high boy, and
Yeah.
it scarred me for
What
the rest
happened?
of my life. Well, I had an onion ring,
yeah.
and
Sorry to laugh.
Was it
I
so-
That's funny.
accidentally slurped the onion out
Oh
of
no,
the
was
breading.
it too hot?
No, it was just disgusting. I don't know if it was old or what.
Robin, by the way, is horrified by
She's
the notion.
it's as if you only ordered a salad in front of her on a date.
You like
She's-
raw red onions too?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
No,
Love
thank
'em.
you. No,
You're
thank
But
you.
here's the thing. Did you see that Northwest eat an onion like an
Oh
apple?
my God, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who Northwest has that in common with?
David Huntsberger.
David Huntsberger.
Someone who's been hypnotized and thinks
Yeah.
it's an apple.
What is
Oh, is
that
that-
about? Because like I
I-
can vet my love of onions. From what I understand, my grandfather loved onions, and it's actually genetic. Like,
Is that true?
yeah, every time I'm eating onions, my dad's like, "Your mother's father ate that many onions." Like, and I was like, "Thanks."
Maybe
But
it's like the
so-
cilantro thing.
Yeah, like I wonder. I just wonder where it comes from.
I can't. Yeah. No.
When you said Northwest, I was like, what? I couldn't parse it.
What
I'm like,
part of the
Northwest-
map are we
Yeah, what are we
talking
talking? But you
Yeah,
mean
people in the
Northwest.
Northwest.
Yeah. Oh no, I was like, because I was thinking South by Southwest. Okay, is this some industry thing I don't know about?
Sketchfest.
Yeah,
Right.
I couldn't orient myself. Okay, all right. What's a high boy? Is that a restaurant?
Yeah, I think it's like a big boy essentially, but like someone just took it and changed it.
And this
to
was
make
a
it their own.
rotten onion, or it was just
It was just.
I wonder
onion.
if
Rotten
as,
to you.
I think I told myself it was a rotten onion, but I think just as a youngster, I was surprised
It's a
that
lot.
everything wasn't just breaded and fried.
right.
Yeah, I remember and I would eat
Yeah.
onion rings as a
Yep.
kid. Like, just pull the onion
Yep.
out and eat the rest of
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Did it a lot.
And it just tainted onions for me. But yeah, a cooked onion in like a chili, not a big deal. But
Yeah.
don't tell me it's there, and then I'm thinking about it too.
Then you're in your head about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay. All
Is
right.
a shallot a kind of onion?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the worst. Because I
the
can't
best.
even eat.
Can't do
I can't
shallots.
even eat cooked shallots.
I
Those
do
things are
like
gnarly.
garlic. I like garlic a
Daniel
lot.
loves garlic.
I love garlic.
Yeah.
And I think a
Huge
shallot
garlic
is
fan.
actually like,
Don't just
Similar to
think about what
garlic.
you're about to say.
I think it's like in the garlic family.
It's forever.
What do they
the-
call
It's the
those?
black sheep of
There's
the
some.
garlic
There's a
family.
word
a
for
root vegetable?
Aromatics.
close to
You know what?
They
aromatics,
smell great.
but it's something
Erewhon
else. There's some.
matters.
It might be aromatics. It might be aromatics. No, there's another word. It's like
Allium, yeah.
Allium.
Speaking of,
There's
Thank
another word
you,
after it.
Tony.
Yeah.
and
it's
maybe
like
only
alliums.
Daniel will get this,
Yeah, I'll get
but and I'm so sorry, everyone.
Your brother and
But-
onions.
No. On the current season of Winter House,
Yeah.
Schwartz brings a bunch of groceries and snacks to the Winter House. Tom
Yeah.
Schwartz from Vanderpump Rules. We all know this character. And he just has a random piece.
In his car, he just has a thing of garlic.
Was it garlic or what was it? It's ginger.
Ginger. That's right, ginger.
And he makes a joke about using it also as deodorant.
Did I?
Is this a thing? Or did you make that joke?
I think I made that joke.
Okay.
I think I think I heard it. It's like a natural person.
Sure. Because I could also see that living
Oh.
out near where I live. It's that and crystals to keep yourself clean.
Right.
Yeah.
Ew.
I don't know.
But I also want to know what's he using that
Why
for?
does he have
Right.
just garlic
Yeah.
bouncing
Garlic.
around in his car?
Yeah.
Ginger.
If it's
Ginger.
ginger, it might be like
Ginger,
because he wants to be healthy. I don't know. Because
Cocktails,
told him-
maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he's a cocktails guy.
Because that next episode, they did have to make a cocktail based on your ex.
That's
But he
funny.
didn't use ginger in his. He just gave people shots of tequila because Tequila Katie.
Right.
Okay, so you need to hear what the soups are.
Yeah, so sorry. Yes.
We have navy bean and tortilla soup.
Is this
Wow.
Coco's?
Yes.
No broccoli
love
cheddar
Coco's.
on the menu?
Like where's the tomato
I'm sorry.
basil? Where's the lobster bisque?
I-
French
just-
onion.
I've been
What'd you
going
say?
through
French
some.
onion.
I've been no.
So good.
I have
could eat
been
it all
going
day.
through some
do like
Trader
French
Joe's
onion.
soups, and but out of those options, I would go tortilla because
Okay.
I could handle the onions in a tortilla soup.
Right.
All right, Tony, what do you do? What your no? You might there might be different soups for you.
Okay.
It's not.
ready.
It would depend. I would most likely go soup, but also I'm not really huge on soup or salad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Would you like just some sliced tomatoes?
No.
Okay.
What are
a
my
lemon
soup
wedge?
What is
options?
this restaurant?
Yours. For you, we have chilled gazpacho
Wow,
or clam chowder.
which is also chilled.
What are my salad options?
Oh, the chef does a house. It's our house.
A wedge.
It's got lettuce, croutons, tomatoes, carrots, and one olive.
I'm fine. I'll just stick with my main course.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Quick question: Thousand
Can
Island.
I have your
right?
salad?
Yeah.
Is
Oh, yeah,
that the
I'll
same
take the
as
salad. He'll eat it, yeah.
10,000 Island.
No.
dressing?
What's 10,000?
There's a 10,000 island.
This is okay. This is huge. Big breaking news here.
Yeah.
When I was in Kansas, we went to eat at a burger spot, and it said 10,000 Island dressing, and my buddy Sean was like, "10,000 is
Yeah.
what is that?" And I said, "Is it just Thousand Island dressing?" And we've just
Or
colloquialized,
No.
you know. And then I went back home. And I saw another sign at a restaurant near me that said 10,000 Island
You know what
dressing.
it is?
Typo.
It's one of the musicians from 10,000 Maniacs
Wow.
went into salad dressing.
Or is
He's
it
like, I
Thousand
gotta-
Island with extra relish?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
It's definitely a knockoff.
Tony,
but I
are
like
you on it?
I'm looking.
Yeah, I got to
There's
know
a
this.
spa in Santa Fe called 10,000 Waves, and I hope they serve 10,000 Island
Me too.
there.
And
Yeah,
I hope
me
they
too.
dance Agamemnon.
At
It's
Jacob's
that-
Pillow.
Oh my God. Damn, that's so funny that stuck in your brain. I
It
get
is
that.
probably my favorite because I remember now that you said it, I remember looking it up years ago.
Yeah.
But
It's a
It's-
Greek tragedy.
it is-
Agamemnon, I think.
I do, yeah, it is. I've seen a Brechtian
Yeah.
version of it.
So
once.
yeah,
But,
dancing a Greek tragedy at this. That's so funny.
It's and it's just one of those lines that just it's why you watch Frasier
Yes.
for lines like
Who delivers the line?
Frasier.
Frasier.
yeah.
So I laughed and I didn't know
And it-
what anything meant in it
Dance
other than
Agamemnon and Jacob's
Agamemnon.
pillow.
And it's like
That wasn't
and
bad.
I think it was one
That
of
was
those
really
things where
good.
like he was trying to say like we'll get her like trying to bore someone from being at the party. Like we'll play the tape of the time she danced Agamemnon.
Oh my
at
God,
Jacob's
that's so
pillow.
funny. God damn it. That you can only hope that like 30 years after you wrote a line that somebody somewhere on a podcast is quoting it. That's such a cool way to compliment
I've
it.
seen like one episode.
I know.
of
I really
Frasier.
haven't seen much. I've read the pilot because everyone's like, "This is the perfect pilot."
It is a perfect pilot.
But let's watch it.
I would say
wanna.
You don't need to watch.
I want to
pilot
watch. No, I mean like the
necessarily.
series though, because I
Yeah.
never watched
Or
it.
you know what
I
I,
don't
did?
want to.
Okay.
Because
should.
I was working on
I
something
know,
that was
I'm not into
Frasier
sitcoms,
adjacent.
though, really.
But it's a great one to fall asleep to, and I'm sorry I talked over you.
No. Vulture, I think, did like the top 100 Frasier episodes or something, top
100?
50 or something, and I watched all of them, and they were really, really, really great.
Okay.
I think my problem with Frasier was the relationship between Niles and the British woman
Reeves.
was really annoying to me. I found that to be really
Like how?
I just found the whole thing to be annoying. I don't know why.
There are. Here's the thing. I was trying to explain it to someone the other day. Not every Frasier episode's a hit, and not
Yeah.
every moment is a hit between characters. But when it does hit, like the top 50 episodes or whatever, it hits so hard that it makes up for everywhere else that it lacked.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
There's an incredible Frasier episode that you should not watch until you've watched like maybe 10 in a row, but it takes place, I think Niles had a heart attack.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's like very theatrical. It's almost like the My Name is Alex episode of Family Ties that when it turned into like a proscenium stage,
Yeah.
basically. But they did the same thing on Frasier, and it's so good.
All right. So, what was the better show, Cheers or Frasier?
For me personally,
or Family Ties.
God, that's so hard.
Or
No,
my
let's
mother
stick with
hard. They're all brilliant in their own way.
Cheers was great.
But yeah, if there was no Cheers, there'd be no Frasier.
So my Cheers for me was a show that came on late when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so alone. It was like a very alone feeling show.
Cheers.
Because it was about a bar.
I don't really know. I think it's because if it was on, it was a time that my parents wanted me to be asleep. And I felt alone.
That's how I feel about Benny Hill.
Yeah. We all have these. I felt that way about MASH too. As an adult,
wow.
I
MASH
went
was
back.
like- yeah.
I
Well, I
revisited
think-
MASH and it's such a good
MASH
show.
and, like,
we
Taxi.
were too young for MASH.
MASH
Yeah.
and Taxi have a very
Yes.
kind of sad.
And MASH
Taxi's incredible.
MASH definitely signifies something for at least me, and I've heard this from other people too. It's like at a certain point on like Saturday morning, once MASH came on, you were done watching TV. And
Yeah.
so,
Crazy.
Bumping the Night is Over or Doug reruns or whatever it is you're watching on your Saturday because MASH is on and now I got to go like mow the lawn or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It was over.
So I think I need to revisit Cheers because I know it's a really good show as well.
It's great.
Does anyone remember
Frasier over Cheers.
Putting on the Hits?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I Instagram
Posted by Alan Fawcett.
Yes.
I did an Instagram story about putting on, or no, I had a really long conversation with my friend recently about putting on the hits.
What were the three things? So this was a show where people would lip sync to hits, and then they were graded on three things, and it was like lip sync quality
Dance?
and like ingenuity or
Performance,
something.
or
I
showmanship?
haven't thought about this.
Yes, showmanship. That sounds
Showmanship.
right. And then the other one was what though? Like inventiveness or something.
Who hosted it?
Alan Fawcett.
Alan Fawcett.
And was it spelled like a bathroom faucet or was it like Farrah Fawcett?
F-A-W-C-E-T-T.
Oh my God, putting on the hits. Vanderpump Robs, you're too young for putting on the hits.
How young are you? I've been wondering.
Well, that'll remain a mystery forever.
Joe, just
How
like
about this? I'm younger than the cast of Vanderpump Rules.
So you're younger than
Okay.
us.
All right.
you're,
I'm-
yeah, he's younger.
I will be turning 40 in August of next year.
Well, that doesn't sound that young.
not
you're
that
you're a
young.
whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Although
Welcome.
thank you. Recently had past guest of this show, Molly McAleer, on Vanderpump Robs, and she was surprised at how young I was because she just imagined I was a dad talking about Vanderpump Rules, and I was like, no, but I forget that like. The not everyone knows who you are when they're listening
Yes.
to your podcast.
Yes,
So when
absolutely.
you do the virtual camera or whatever, they're like, oh, not what I imagined.
Okay, Tony, I feel like I made you look stuff up.
$10,000 dressing.
Yes. I sort of have an answer on the 10,000, but not really. There's very few Google results for it, and the main thing that comes up is a Food Network thing from Guy Fieri, a 10,000 Island recipe
Is this spicy or
for
something?
layered salad.
This is unsatisfying.
Recipes are-
I
yeah.
mean, unsatisfying.
Yeah, the answer is not very. There's no like description really saying anything about. It's just the straight up recipe.
Okay.
Is this an opportunity for a 5-star review if people can tell us the difference between
Ooh.
10,000 Island and
Yes.
1,000 Island?
Yes.
And
Please
my dad,
leave us a review telling us the difference. Click 5 stars. Is that what you meant? Yeah.
my dad had a joke, which was the reason they call. You know why they call it? He would say this when you're in a salad bar or a situation like that.
Like the Sizzler.
Yes. Yeah. I missed the Sizzler. We had a Sizzler.
We went once and then it shut down. No,
and
no
it-
fault
and
of
it's
us.
gone. Why they call it Thousand Island?
I don't know.
Because people spit in it as they walk past it in the salad bar.
And the
What?
spit is the island?
Maybe it wasn't my dad. Maybe it was a friend.
Maybe it was the
My dad-
owner of the
Wait,
Sizzler.
I
Can
say
you
it-
explain it to me?
For some reason, it's my dad in my mind who says it, but now my dad is way funnier than that.
But I don't get it.
Maybe he was trying out some new
The
material.
loogies. Those are the
Ew.
islands.
Here's what I want to say. If everyone's going to be mean about Thousand Island,
No,
then you're
I like-
also going
No,
to have to
but
be
I
mean
like
about
it.
aioli.
Robin, it's not
I like
true.
it.
It's true.
Big
Thousand Island is great. I love it on a
good
burger.
good patty melt.
Yeah.
I
love it
like
on a
to
burger.
dip things in it.
Yeah.
And I can handle the onions
I
that
feel
are
a
in
little shame.
Thousand Island dressing.
You shouldn't.
I do feel a little shame. I wonder if
Why?
it's my Ukrainian DNA because it's borscht. It feels
Yeah.
borscht
It's a
adjacent.
good
Right.
deli. It's a great deli dressing.
Wait, but
Yes.
are there beets in it? I think it's just.
yeah,
isn't
what?
Isn't
Is it just ketchup?
and
Yeah.
mayonnaise?
No. Isn't there like paprika or something in
I mean,
there?
yeah,
What's Guy
maybe.
Fieri say?
Yeah.
But like,
I feel like there's something a tiny bit spicy that makes it.
I
pink.
do have the palate of a real hardcore Eastern European Jew. Like there's no mistaking.
Tongue. Will you eat
I
it?
will. I just won't.
Just-
I
you
would
just won't.
not. So I guess I retract. Maybe
Lingual.
I don't.
Wait, but like in what way do you
I
like?
don't, I'm not. I don't
pierogi.
have like Sam just has a more adventurous palate, and I'm like, give me pierogies and stuffed cabbage, and I'll be fine. I don't need anything else.
Right.
But yeah, whatever.
Hey,
All
you
right,
like what you
Tony.
like.
Did you find? I think the other thing was, did you find the 3 categories?
Yes, and I have a couple tidbits on.
Oh, great.
Also,
Ooh, we love tidbits.
That's what I'm here for. The category is not that exciting. Originality, appearance, and lip sync abilities.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Lip sync abilities.
I feel like we would all win.
Yes.
What would your
Yeah,
lip sync
I mean-
song be? Did you get to choose? Since I don't know what this
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you got to choose.
Yeah, because they would have some people would have like a really like elaborate.
It was
uh,
elaborate.
Hence originality.
So it was like,
God, I don't
was it kind of
know.
like the Gong Show then, where like you prepared something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and this
for
was
sure.
the one little tidbit I was going to share. I didn't know this. Did you know Kato Kalin was on it?
Whoa!
No.
That's
Yeah.
What did he
great.
do?
Season 3 did Born to Be Wild.
Oh, beautiful. Why isn't that more famous? Why don't we
In
all know that?
1994.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has he hired a company to
Scrub it?
suppress this?
Right. Oh, I know. I have one thing I wanted to tell you.
Yes.
Separate from my Thousand Island dressing. I saw Liz Phair play the entire
Oh.
Exile in Guyville on
Yeah, I heard that
Friday
was
night at the
happening.
Wiltern.
nice.
Was it amazing?
Whoa!
It was and it wasn't.
Okay.
Was none of you guys were there? I figured you guys are a music
No,
crowd.
but I love that album.
It was
I'm
good.
I
old.
did recently
But
go
you
to
know
a concert.
What? It
which
all
was fun.
comes back to like I don't think you can go back.
Right. That's the theme of this episode.
I think that's the theme. That's why I wanted to mention it.
So, in what way was it disappointing?
Because the tickets said that the show is from 7 to 8:30. The website said the show is from 7 to 8:30. For me, that's music to my ears.
Yes.
Those are perfect times for me.
Yes.
And
Wait, so your criticism of the show is
It's too
just
long.
the timing of it?
no.
Okay.
Then we got to the Wiltern and we got there at like 7:45.
No.
And the doors weren't even open. And Liz
no,
Phair
can't
didn't
do
go
that.
on to like 9:15.
Can't
What?
do that. That is. Ooh.
Yeah.
If it says starts at 7 and then that happens,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's weird.
that's annoying. But whatever. But 7 to 8:30.
That's so specific.
That's so
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just like, 7 to 8:30. She can play All of Exile in an hour and a half.
Also-
I mean, there's a lot of songs on that album.
If it says that, then I'm thinking I better be there at 7.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
we were there.
Right?
We were not there at 7 because we saw there was an opening act. So that's why we rolled in at a cash 7:45.
Who was the opener?
Blonde Shell. Have you heard of Blonde Shell?
No.
She's kind of 90s riot girlish.
Was everyone annoyed?
Everyone was
At the
just
timing.
yawning. I mean, like everyone was like our age. Just, like,
That's the other thing. Her fan base is too
Yeah.
old for a
and
9
then there was this
something show.
neurotic guy walking out in and out of our row, and I just at one point went, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah.
just got to be like too much. And that's what it is. It was nipping at my heels as something to mention because it just felt like she sounded great. She's better when she's performing with a guitar. She did some sign language at one point that didn't land for me.
But for those it did land with, it landed hard.
I mean, but she's better when she's got that
How
guitar.
did she incorporate the sign language?
Well, she put the guitar down and it was just like, I forgot what song it was, but I'm making the dove thing, fluttering dove with my hands, but it was like, oh, sorry. I forgot what song it was, but it was like, put it into the fire and let it go. But it was like, fire, let it go. And it was
Wow.
like, talk about putting on the Ritz or putting on the hits.
That was so good.
It was
Agamemnon.
like, I'll look up what song it was, but it was like, it was like sign language, but is that literal sign language or is this a choreography?
And she only did that for one
for
song.
one song.
So she thinks there's someone in the audience that was just hating the whole show until the one song.
Yeah,
And she did those birds with
those
her
hand
thumbs.
gestures.
And that was it.
I like that you brought that up because it takes a lot for me to go to see live music these days, from working in the indie venue scene and having to sit through like the humble geniuses on stage and, you know, you shouldn't have even paid to come see us sort of things that would go really late. I hate it. But, you know, when I love a band and it's near me, it happened recently. Brian Jonestown Massacre played at Pappy and Harriet's, and that's near me. And it was an outside show, and I had yet to see music at the venue. And the door said 7. The opening band started at 7:20.
Great,
Brian Jonestown Massacre was on by 8.
beautiful.
And it was before the time change, so it was still kind of, you know, sun was setting and around the mountains. It was great. Brian, we left a few songs early because we were old and standing, and, you know, it's what it is. And they have 30 albums, so you'd never know how long the show's going to go for. But it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And I had the time of my life. And since it was standing and outside, anyone that I was uncomfortable standing next to, I just moved around.
Wait, who's in the band now? Is it just like, what's his name? Anton?
Anton and Joel is still
Joel's still playing tambourine?
Has a
Wait, Joel's still there?
yeah,
Because
and
I
plays-
saw them.
he's got a book coming out too.
I saw them at the Knitting Factory. I've seen, and everyone had left. It was just like Anton and someone else, and then he kicked someone in the head with his boot.
There was a few arguments, but the one thing I do remember is one of the newer members for me was like, "Hey, I need my guitar louder." He's like, and he gets in the mic. He's like, "Louder's better, right, audience?" And then Anton like takes some long drag of his cigarette, and he's like, "No, motherfucker, better is better." And I was like, "Of course."
What was that documentary about them? Dig?
Dig.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Do you know them, Tony?
No, I'm familiar, but
Yeah.
You should watch Dig though.
no, I've seen.
Oh,
that.
okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Make you feel a certain way about Brian Jonestown Massacre and a certain way about the Dandy Warhols.
The show in that documentary where what's his name, Johnny Hollywood or
Matt
Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Matt Hollywood like quits the band. That was my introduction. I was at that show.
Oh wow!
And I had no knowledge of the band. So we're sitting there. It was at the Dragonfly. And it was like it was like an event. It was like, so they were just playing an event. It wasn't like their show.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole spectacle is just something. Cause you've got like Joel, who his whole role in the band is just to stand there bored playing the tambourine in front of the band.
Yes.
And then you have this thing where, you know, Anton comes over and like takes the microphone and then kicks the guy. I mean, we thought it was like performance art. And I was like, I love these guys. And then I see the documentary and it was all real.
Yeah.
Anyway, no one cares. Is it
I do.
5 people out there care about this?
All right. So, but Rob really cares.
I really
Your
do.
brother and
Yeah.
onions.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the deal. We don't have that much time left. So here's the options of how we can spend our time. We can share a product we like in my new segment. It's either podcast picks from product picks from podcast guests, or Podcast Pals product picks, or we could do just me or everyone if you guys have any, or we could do Hey Go Fuck Yourself if you have any, or we could talk about how Elf might be a cult. And what was the other one that might be a cult?
Erewhon.
Erewhon.
Yeah. What are you guys
haven't
feeling?
read the article for that,
Yeah.
so we don't know. It's in New York Magazine.
in the New York Magazine.
No, but I mean, Robin and Rob could fill us in on those.
I could be really quick on my product pick and Hey Go Fuck Yourself, or I can just choose one.
No, do both, please.
Okay.
Okay, hang on.
So give
Now,
us the rules.
for the rule is just tell me a product that you're into and why you like it. And Robin, I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yeah.
I need, Tony, eventually I will farm this out to you. I need like a theme song to introduce this.
Yeah.
Could you just whip something up?
The name of the segment is
Well, are we going
Product
with
Pals?
Are we going with Podcast Pals product picks?
I think we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Podcast Pals product picks.
I like that.
No. Or it could be like Podcast Pals product picks.
Ooh, I like that too.
Because the sound bath thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What were you going to say, Daniel?
Or
I
it could
wasn't.
be like quack. Just product picks.
Also great. Thank you for these three.
Just want to give you some variety.
Some options,
Or,
yes.
Who did I do an impersonation of that didn't sound terrible like 10 minutes ago?
Frasier.
Right, yeah, like Podcast Pals product picks.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. The product, I succumbed to the TikTok shop for buying this, but it's also on like Amazon. So if you have an Amazon storefront,
I ever Amazon.com/shop/Allison Rosen. There's even a whole section for PPPP.
wow. Anchor, the brand Anchor, has a phone charger, like a portable phone charger that, does the magnet connection to an iPhone that also has like a little stand on it. So
Ooh.
now
I saw this today.
when you turn your phone, the new iPhone update, when you turn sideways, it looks like an old school alarm clock. And you don't like, I hate charging my phone overnight because then if I go to grab it and I knock something off my bedside table. Anyway, this, I just magnetize it, turn it sideways, and I plug into the actual thing and not my phone. And then I can just pick my phone up.
I literally saw an ad for this today, and I was like, "This looks." Is it the one that it's kind of like it's got a thing on the bottom and then it's kind of elevated?
Yeah.
So you could actually use it as like a.
Well, mine, it's like
You could film with it, right?
Well, it's like I have this wallet that attaches to the back, so
Neat.
it attaches like this, but it also has like a little stand that comes
Right.
out. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you have to have a special phone that can do that kind of charging?
I think
the induction
any of
charging or
the
whatever?
new
last
ones.
few
I'm
versions.
out.
I think the last like 4 iPhones have been
Okay.
able to do that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
PPPP. Thank you.
Yes.
Does anyone else have one? You
I
don't.
have
Yes.
one.
Yes.
If you sleep in a bed with somebody who snores, it's a bit of an investment. I got it as a Hanukkah gift last year, but it's changed my life.
I am all ears.
The Bose Sleep Buds.
I've seen these.
Oh.
Incredible. I've never been so in love with one product. I'm not somebody
love
who's like,
this.
oh my God, I must have the AB. I don't care. This is like, I would die if I didn't have these in my ears.
Is this the purpose of the product, or are you? Is this like an off-label usage?
No. What do you mean?
Has
Like-
the FDA approved these for sleeping
Like,
with a
are they-
snoring
Are
partner?
these just like earbuds for listening to music, and you're using them for this,
No.
or is this
You're at the typical Apple earbud you can't sleep on.
It's not comfortable.
Right.
So these are
And
comfortable.
These
to
like just fit right into your ears and you can sleep on them.
They don't advertise them as for people who sleep with snorers, though.
No,
is
and
what I'm
it's
saying.
the noise cancellation, the way it's built is perfect. I don't know. It's
So okay, because
changed-
I
So they
sleep-
are like a headphone type thing, but you
yeah,
can
but
also
you can
use
only
them.
get sleep. You can only get sort of white noise through it.
Okay, so it is meant for sleeping.
It's only for sleeping.
Okay, cool.
because I currently use earplugs,
Yeah.
but this works better for you.
Yeah, the
Did you
earplugs
try
are-
earplugs?
Oh, for years.
And how did that work for you?
It was. It
just wasn't enough,
It
right?
just wasn't enough.
And this really cancels it
this
out.
really cancels it out. I can't hear.
Interesting.
Here's the thing: Is it unsafe to a certain extent because you can't hear anything? Yeah. But ostensibly,
But
the reason
not getting enough sleep is also unsafe.
right. So there have been times when like the fire alarm starts chirping at night, and like he'll have to like really wake me up because I
they
can't
work
hear
that
it.
well.
Oh, wow.
Do they like modulate to the sound in the room?
No, I don't think so. And you can make it a lot louder, but there's like a message on it that is like, if you want to go this loud, like you're gonna be.
Is it an app? Is that how you control it?
Yeah, through an app. It's
I'm gonna have to get
Maybe
so
Santa
worth
got
the
it.
money. It is so worth the money.
Yeah. By the way, I feel like Elliot is right on the cusp of figuring Santa out.
He has this app on his iPad where it's like a fortune teller, and you have to think of a person, place, or thing, or whatever, and then it asks yes or no
yeah, I've
questions,
seen
and then
that.
it'll guess what it is. He loves this thing.
It is pretty impressive, honestly.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's really good.
It is, and it can be very specific. And so he was thinking of Santa, and the question was,
no.
is this person real? And it's not just yes or no answers. It's like probably or I don't know. And he was like, probably. Like he did. And the hesitation there told me, yeah,
He's having, yeah.
gonna
And then he
figure
goes,
it out.
yeah, probably. It probably real. Like he's not ready, but
Yeah.
he knows. Because, I mean, he's putting it together. He knows that the Ubby fairy isn't real. That's the pacifier fairy. He knows that the Burbank witch is not real.
I thought about the Burbank witch on my way here.
You
did?
she
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
was thinking of where she would go.
You know what? The funny thing about the Burbank witch, though, is that he thought she was real, and now he knows she's not real. But then he'll find out that she is real because there's a store down the street for Burbank witches. This will never happen. There's not going to be a store for people who think they're Santa Claus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
The
So
lore of the Burbank witch is a little bit more fantastical.
Yes.
But it can like bring it back to reality.
yes. Now, we've been using Santa pretty hardcore lately
As a behavioral tactic.
as a behavioral.
It doesn't work very well though.
Our-
know
it
why?
turns
Too
out
far
our-
in the future.
You know what? No,
Owen
it's
for the little
more.
one.
It's that Elliot cares a lot, like about being good. So he doesn't really need this, even though he's asked us 1,000 times, "Do you think I'm on the good list? Do you think I'm on the good list?" But then Owen does not give a fuck, and he's the one where we're like,
This was the
is
kid who
time
wanted-
of year that Santa's watching.
This is the kid who wanted cabbage and a wheel of cheese for Christmas last year, and then
my God.
and
What does he
then
want this year?
You said last week.
I know,
It was
something really
grapes,
funny.
Was it?
grapes.
Yeah.
Yes, he wants
Oh my
grapes.
God.
And when he found out, well,
Oh,
if you're
no.
if you're on the naughty list,
Yeah.
you get coal. And he asked Elliot what coal was. He said a black rock, and then he was like, "Ooh!" And so
He loves
that's what he
rocks.
wants.
That's funny.
And so then the other day was like, I looked into it, and it and it turns out he doesn't give out coal anymore because people don't use coal anymore.
Oh.
He gives out nothing.
Oh,
And he was
that's
like,
not satisfying enough.
I don't feel like I think he might be fine with that too,
He
honestly.
gives out chores.
Gives out chores. I just don't know. I don't know.
I know, 'cause
Should we introduce religion?
You said to him, you were like, because you might not, if you don't listen to people, then you might not get any presents. How would you feel about that? And I knew that you were genuinely asking, like you were genuinely trying to see what we're working with here.
Yeah.
Like, does he care?
Right.
I was.
Yeah.
I have also,
Stinks.
I have been, in order to make this more real, I have told them that one year I was naughty and got, nothing, and it really stunk. And I thought that would give it like
And
legitimacy.
I feel like that actually just makes it okay. Like, oh, what happened to Daddy?
No, I told him how upset I was, and nothing
We're
seems to
just
matter.
fully
This
lying
kid
to
is
our
just
children.
Unshakable.
unshakable. I mean, he's going to be a CEO or something.
That's what Todd Cooper said.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think, well, who knows? That or just living at home his whole life, probably more like it.
Taking over the pod cabin.
Yes.
Put a
Listen,
bunk bed in here.
if you could not ever have to work and just mooch off your parents for the rest of your life, and that, like, the downside of that wasn't a downside to you, wouldn't
Right.
you?
Right.
I think we've all dated people like that.
Yes. Well,
Yes,
Not really,
Yes,
but
we've all dated people like that.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're working with here.
please,
We
Owen's
have
going
no
to be
tools.
like Owen's going to be like a doctor.
I'm just saying we
engineer or
have no
something.
tools as parents. We are completely fucked.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like it's time to wrap this one up unless anyone has any last minute things that they
I can quickly tell you
Oh,
the
yeah.
elf thing.
Oh yeah. Andy
'Cause I
had a
ju-
hey go fuck yourself.
Well, my Hey Go Fuck Yourself might be a little mean, but I'll say it quickly. The thing I heard about Elf is that like they are actually using documents from Nexium to sell their products
Smart.
in marketing tactics.
Honestly,
I didn't know
smart.
Wait, I didn't know that Nexium had marketing tactics, or they're the marketing tactics to get people to use to
to
join.
yeah. So they're using
Wow.
like PDFs and stuff from that. But I haven't vetted all of the research on that, everyone.
And
But,
how did you hear this?
the internet.
Okay, well they're never
Sarah
wrong.
Edmondson has
No,
to say
not at
about
I know
all.
I should find out.
Or conflicting in their messaging at all.
Yeah.
And so that was, the Hey Go Fuck Yourself is, I've been hearing this a lot lately on shows that I've listened to. So it's not any one single thing, but like as a podcaster, I'm very frustrated when I hear guests say that have been on my show as well, will say things like, oh, I'll guest on a show, but I'll never listen to a podcast. And I am always a little bit just like, cool, thanks.
Wait, who says that?
I just have heard
Have you heard it on my show? Because I feel like there was a recent discussion where it was like people talk. Like I think that I also said though, I don't spend a ton of time listening to shows because I can't.
It's not that
I can't
necessary.
listen as
It's almost when
like
someone is-
listener.
Well, it's not that, and I don't think I heard it on your show.
Okay, great.
But what I have heard on shows like mine and guests that I've had, like they'll just flat out be like, "I'm not a podcast listener," and I'm kind of like, okay.
But
I don't know what to say to that.
I'm going
Right,
to tell you
right.
something, Vanderpump Robs. This is an occupational hazard. And it's when people are interested in what you do, they somehow find a way to neg you too. So I can't tell you, I would say 98% of the time, if people ask me what I do and I tell them I'm a TV writer, their first response is, I don't watch TV.
What?
And yeah, a lot of times,
So
or
that's not
I don't
necessary.
have a TV, or I didn't grow up with a TV. So it's like, all right, end of conversation. We don't
Yeah.
have
It's
to
a
talk
trophy,
about it.
yeah.
I'm fine not talking
That's
about
kind of
being
why
a
it's
TV
like
writer.
a so go fuck yourself.
Right,
But it is one of
yeah.
those things where I'm just like,
It's just some weird, sometimes it's just a weird response. It's like a weird defensive response, maybe.
Now, do they just do you say what podcast you listen to and then they say it, or do they just kind of like offer it up?
well, like sometimes I will hear it on shows that I listen
I
to,
see.
and I'll be like noted, not needed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it is one of those things where it's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
But
Noted, not needed is something I'm going to say all the time now.
take it on with
Thank
it.
you.
That you can add that NNN to your PPP.
Hey,
P-
maybe
P-
that's
no.
instead of like when I don't feel comfortable doing a hey go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
it's a noted, not needed.
Yeah, there you go.
Noted, not needed. NNN.
Oh,
Sorry.
I thought no. I was pointing at you. I was thinking, could you do noted, not needed in the way that sounds like hey, go fuck yourself?
Like noted, not needed, like that.
Like noted, not. Wait, how does it go? Tony, play it, please.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Noted, not needed.
So good. Oh my God, you guys, this was too much fun. Robin.
Yes.
Any plugs?
Just, I'm not on Instagram as much right now, but I'm checking in from time to time. I'm not as active right now, but I'm at Robin Shorr, ROBINSHORR, and I'll get back to making funny things to put up there.
Wonderful. Rob.
Yes. People can find me on Instagram at Vanderpump Robs or Rob K. Schulte, and you could listen to Vanderpump Robs wherever you get podcasts. Award-winning podcast, and
Wow.
at this point, award-nominated for Best Outstanding Foreign Series. I'm up
Nice.
against Today Explained. Let's hope I win.
I think you got him.
And that's Vanderpump Robs, and everyone at this table except for Tony has been on an episode. Tony, you're welcome anytime.
You know how much I watch that show
know.
Loves
religiously.
it. It ruined his entire 2023.
Daniel?
Well, I was recently on an episode talking about Winter House, and it was a lot of fun. That show is pretty crazy. But otherwise, I don't know. Instagram, Daniel Quantz, whatever.
Tony?
Just Instagram.
Tony Thaxton.
Thank you. Bizarre albums every Tuesday. Motion City Soundtrack will be back on tour in January.
Nice.
Follow me on social media at Allison Rosen on Twitter, Instagram, the Allison Rosen on TikTok, YouTube. It's all okay. YouTube.com/Allison Rosen as well. Oh, I had iTunes reviews queued up. We'll do that. We'll get to them next time. Leave your iTunes reviews. Please click 5 stars. Merch store, newsletter, Patreon, Childish, my show with Todd. All of this you can get to in my link tree, which I've decided instead of listing everything, I'm just going to send them to my link tree. But what it really means is I will list everything and then also send them to my link tree and explain that I've decided I'm going to do that from now on. Go to Instagram and it's in my bio. My link tree is in my bio. Or just type,
Wow, it like tripled the length.
I know.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Linktree is linktr.ee, and I don't
Quadrupled.
know. Should I say that /Allison Rosen, or do I just say go to my Linktree?
Sounds like a conversation for this podcast.
You guys, this has been so much fun. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show?